Hello and welcome. Oh, goodness. Today we're going to be talking about quarterly planning tips for entrepreneurs. It's been a little while. Right? Stuff happens. Things come up. I apologize. I'm trying to get more regular, but literally I have babies that get sick, people that it just happens. So no excuses in that respect, but unfortunately I can't always go live, which is why I say I generally go live at this time. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help businesses and people thrive. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. I do go live almost every day, Monday through Friday at 11. We talk law, we talk business, we talk lots of different things. So please feel free to join me. If you're not able to join me, and I completely understand, make sure to put comments below if you have questions or need help. That is what I'm here for. So please make sure to check that out. Let's get started, shall we? All right. So, as I've stated on many instances, and will continue to state it because, well, let's face it, you haven't necessarily watched all of those videos or listened to all of my podcasts. One of the things that most, not all, but most small businesses struggle with is planning. They just don't do it. Now, there's the balance between getting started and planning too much. It can happen. The realistic thing is getting done is better than not done. But at the same time, what you need to realize is that you need to plan as well as getting stuff done, right? It's the perfect combination for success is when you're not only doing, but you're planning. You're planning and doing and planning. Because it's not just the simple answer of, oh, I'm just going to do without a plan. Because you could be doing everything going in the wrong direction if you don't have a plan. Now, here's the thing. Just because you have a plan doesn't mean it's going to go perfect. You can't expect that, 2 years ago, we didn't know what a pandemic really was. And then we all got hit with this. So your plan has to be something that you're going to have to be flexible with it. Okay, so you plan something, and we're going to talk about the things that you're going to want to plan, and then you're going to want to implement it, but then you're going to want to make sure that if things happen that you modify your plan to fit with what is happening, not stick with it as in you're being foolish about your plan if it's not working, right? So, but that's one of the best benefits, and I say this all the time, this is one of the best benefits of having your own business, is that if things change, if life happens, you can change your business accordingly. So keep that in mind, is that it's something that you need to do. This isn't just, oh, it's nice to do if you feel like it. This is something you need to do, okay? So quarterly planning. Now, I'm working through the book called Traction, and it is basically about getting things done. Now, you want to take into account that quarterly is meant to accentuate your annual plan. Where are you at in regards to your annual plan? Or, as in Traction, they call it annual rocks. We talk about them in boulders, but things that absolutely have to happen. What is your annual plan? Okay, you want to revisit that. If you don't, what's the point of doing an annual plan? All of these things should be consistent with your what's called vivid vision. What is your vivid vision? I don't know that, but you need to sit down with and map out your vivid vision. What is it that you want out of your business? What is your dream? Have you sat down and identified what your dream is in detail? Or you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants? Now, I can't answer what's right for you, but I can tell you that if you fly by the seat of your pants, you're going to be disappointed. I don't have a better way of saying that, is that you need to recognize that planning is going to get you where you want to be faster than not planning. Now, am I perfect? Please don't mistake that. I'm not perfect. I have 1,000 time constraints, and maybe not 1,000, but a lot, right? And so are things going to happen? Yes. But if you generally do something, it's going to be a lot more successful than if you never do it, right? Okay, so first and foremost, you need to revisit your annual plan, annual boulders. You need to break down those boulders into smaller rocks. What are you going to accomplish on a quarterly basis in order to get you to the next level? What is it that is in your vivid vision that has to do with your plan that then you can break down back into quarterly, right? Because here's the thing. You know, the old saying, but this is true, how do you eat an elephant? Never eaten an elephant. But you do it bite by bite, right? Like you take one step at a time. If you're trying to grow your business to multi-million dollars, okay, you can't do that. You have to make $1 and then $2 and then $5 and then 10 and then 30 and then 50 and 60, so on and so forth until you get to that million or whatever the dollar amount that you're shooting for is. You can't just sit here and go, well, I'm going to make $1 million next year, and then poof, it's going to happen. You can't just wave a magic wand and things are going to happen. The law of attraction and universe and all of these different principles that exist mean that you have to do something, but you have to take each dollar as it comes, which means that if you're trying to, net $1 million, you can't do that if you can't get $1. Okay? So you're going to want to break down your boulders into smaller rocks. All right. Next thing is review your budget and benchmarks. Do you have a budget? Now is a good time to have a budget. I'm not even kidding you. A lot of people don't. And again, don't misunderstand that doing something is better than nothing. So even if you just have a budget on paper that you haven't really optimized yet, something is better than nothing. So please start with something and don't look for perfection. You don't need to have a degree in accounting to worry about your budget. You just don't. It's not a thing. You don't need to have a degree in finance in order to worry about your budget. It's just basic math, right? How much am I bringing in? How much do things cost? There's all sorts of analysis that you can do to help you at a later point. But in the beginning, keep track of your costs, keep track of what you're bringing in, and make sure that you're bringing in more than you're paying out, okay? So that's number one. Review your budget and your benchmarks. Where are you at? What status are you? Are you bringing in the money that you need to bring in? What can you do different to bring in more money, right? Because honestly, if you're not thinking strategically, why are you doing it, right? Do you just have a job that has a title of owner, or are you actually trying to build a business, okay? Next, excuse me, you're going to want to set expectations and timelines. What is it that you're going to accomplish and when are you going to accomplish it? Okay. I've had lots of variations of this one. I've had crazy bosses that thought that something was possible that was impossible, and they raked you over the coals when you couldn't accomplish the thing that you wanted. And then I've had bosses that didn't set anything, and so anything was great. What kind of person are you? I don't know, but I can answer you this. Working for somebody that is crazy stressful and doesn't their goals are unrealistic. I am not suggesting you shouldn't have reach goals, but having reach goals should not come at the detriment of your people. They shouldn't. Should they feel pressure to reach those goals? Yes, that's why they're called reach goals. But should they be in fear for their lives or their livelihoods because if they don't reach that goal, they're going to get fired? No, they shouldn't, right? You want to create a team relationship between you and your employees that is beneficial, mutually beneficial for all parties, right? We call it a symbiotic relationship. Why? Because if you're helping them and they're helping you, then it works better for everybody. But if you're just being a taskmaster that is hurting your employees, then number one, you're going to have a high turnover, and number two, you're never going to get to your goals. I'm not suggesting let them walk all over you, because there's not always a perfect employee, but in fact, there's never a perfect employee. But the old saying, hire slow, fire fast, right? Like, take as much time as you need to get information from the people and see the people for who they are, and then hope they perform. If they don't perform, then part ways as quick as reasonably possible. It's not easy. You have to make life difficult for somebody. Sorry, that sucks, but you have to, right? Your business, your family, your whoever's depending on you, depends on you to do the right thing for them. And if you don't do the right thing for them, then why are you doing it, right? Like that's really what it is. So sometimes it means ripping off that Band-Aid and letting someone go because they're probably not happy there anyway, right? Let them go be happy somewhere else. That's what you want to do. All right. So after you've set expectations and timelines, be clear. Be very, very clear. I'm not talking about micromanagement. There's a very big difference between micromanagement and being clear. Being clear in your expectations and when things are needing to happen are absolutely crucial. Why? Because here's the thing. Lack of clarity creates confusion, and when people are confused, they don't do anything. They just don't. People like clarity. People like knowing what the rules are, what the goals are, what the expectations are. When do they expect to have these things done? All of these things are important. People crave that type of thing, right? They like actual rules. Now, this is not micromanagement. This is not draconian. This is, you set these things, you set these timelines, you set these goals, and then you work through with them, right? This is not you're going to be over, I had a boss, and I've never heard a truer statement. The beatings shall continue until morale improves, right? Don't be like that. Don't be that boss. Be the good boss that's working, that's a leader, that's trying to show and inspire and help them become their best version of themselves. That's who you want to be. Fighting with them, micromanaging them is a bad way to go. It's a lack of trust, and again, if they're not living up to their end of the bargain, then why do you have them in the first place? If you have to micromanage somebody, they shouldn't be working for you, right? Because if they're not performing adequately for you to let them do the thing that you want them to do, then let them go. That's a good song. Let it go. Let it go. Anyway, next thing, and this kind of fits in with that one. Delegate. Oh my gosh, you've got to delegate. And clearly express responsibilities. There's nothing worse than when you've come away from a meeting or come away from an event, quarterly planning, that type of thing, that the parties don't know what the flip they're doing, right? Like, you want to make sure that people are, that they understand their role and their responsibility within making that goal happen. And give them autonomy. Because here's the beautiful thing. Everybody has genius. Albert Einstein said, everybody's a genius, but if you ask a fish to climb a tree, he'll think he's an idiot his entire life, right? So find the people that are geniuses within that thing and let them be their genius selves. Because then you're going to see results that you might not have even expected because they're accessing their genius, right? So give them the opportunity to express their genius within that context, okay? Because they may do something that may be significantly better than what you even had anticipated if you give them the opportunity. But if they aren't aware of their responsibilities, if it's too difficult or you did it poorly, then you've got issues. There are things that you need to reevaluate here to protect and help your employees to do better. But again, it comes back to you've got to delegate and express the responsibilities. All right. Final tip. Identify the criteria for success. What equals a win? Maybe it's a little win. Maybe it's a big win. I don't know. But you need to identify that criteria. You need to be clear. Have I mentioned that you need to be clear? Because in case you haven't noticed, I've mentioned that a few times. The reason why is people like clarity. There's nothing worse than working for a job and you don't know what you're doing. Not just that you don't know. You know how to do the job, but what's your point, right? Like, what is the point of you doing your job? And so by identifying the criteria for success for these quarterly planning meetings, you're going to help your employees have the same, again, it comes back to vivid vision. Is your vision the same? Do your employees buy into that vivid vision? If they don't, then they're not a right fit. If they do, then you've got something magic to work with. So it's very important that you're involving this in everybody. Everybody should be involved in this planning. This shouldn't just be the upper management that's making these decisions. Now, are they going to be the ones deciding ultimately where you're headed? And I mean, like, are there ultimate decisions that need to be made? Yes, there have to be. Someone that makes ultimate decisions. But if you can involve your employees in planning and growth and opportunities, it's going to be so much easier to get to your goals. You're going to be so much happier that way. Because people like to be involved. They don't want to be involved. Maybe there's a bigger issue there that you don't know about. I can't answer that for you, but by identifying these people that don't want to be involved, maybe there's an issue that needs to be addressed and that you can work with. So that's it. Those are my quarterly planning tips for entrepreneurs. If you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye.